That is a huge amount of sardines.
Another fun day of chasing tarpon. They're definitely one of my favorite fish to catch with a fly rod.
I should lure a tarpon. They don't like my fly.
They will not eat fly.
No. It's like a big cloud.
It's now late August, and the number of tarpon migrating through the Belizean region is decreasing. And that's normal, and it eventually stops around the 1st of September. Later on in this video, I have the fight of my life with a fish approaching the 200-pound mark, and some cool things happen along the way. We saw a few tarpon randomly tailing and rolling in the turtle grass beyond the turquoise water, so I was blind casting into it.
Spooked them. Oh. Oh, he's coming. Oh, he turned. There's another one. Did you see that? Oh. Went back into the...
Tarpon are more or less impossible to see when they're feeding in the turtle grass, which you can see just beyond the turquoise water. That is, unless they roll or expose their fins at the surface of the water, which they were doing occasionally. So if one eats my fly in this turtle grass, I won't see the fish ahead of time, and if it's a big one, it's enough to scare you out of your shorts. I couldn't get one to eat, so we went on the hunt by cruising around slowly to see whether fish were in other areas. One of the things I love about fishing is the surrounding nature and other wildlife. As much as I love seeing porpoises, when they show up, there's no point in fishing in that area any longer, because as soon as their clicks are heard by the other fish, the fish bug out, including tarpon.
We haven't seen any for several hours, and it's just a tough look. But they can appear at any time.
It's hot work. And then this beast showed up, and I think he came looking for a fight. I thought the take was really cool. The first time it went after it, I think I pulled the fly out of his mouth when I line set. Then he got angry and didn't miss it the second time.
We're on.
Now line is screaming off the reel, and everything went great with the exception of one small detail, which you may have seen right when the tarpon started stripping line. My free line on the deck got a wind knot in it right when the fish took off, and then it gets ripped through the eyelets on the rod. Surprisingly, my eyelets survived, but this is not a good situation because it's not a proper knot, which can wind up cutting the line.
Whoa.
Already down to the backing, 10 seconds in. We have to pull the anchor because this big fish has stripped most of my backing within the first few minutes and is about to take the boat for a ride.
Whoa. Pretty big fish. You better get that anchor in. I am running out of backing.
I've got the drag fully maxed, and this fish is still stripping line, so I'm palming the spool to provide more resistance, and my hand is feeling the burn.
I'm gonna run out of backing if you don't get this boat moving. I know. Pick it up. You can pick it up. Well, we know where it is.
We came back and picked it up after the fight, but we had to ditch the anchor because this fish was stripping line so fast. The adrenaline surge I feel right at the take is blindingly intense and awesome, and it's easily my favorite part about fly fishing.
It did. It jumped a couple times.
So we're now chasing the fish with the boat so that I can reel some line back onto the reel. Technically speaking, I'm undergunned and should be fishing with a 12-weight rod, but this 10-weight is the biggest I own.
A little bit slower. Okay.
The fish is trying to get to the reef ahead so that it can cut the line on the rocks and coral. And they're not the only species that know how to do this. Permit will do the same thing, and other species.
Okay. I know, but I can't reel that fast, and the line was going slack. Okay. Yep. Wow. Yeah, he's big. He's big.
The guide is telling me to put more pressure on the fish. He wants me to lean into the rod more, and I know he's right, but at this point,
Yeah.
I can feel that I may wind up snapping the rod, and unfortunately, it's not like you can just go to town and buy a new fly rod down here. I'm also really worried about that dang loop in the line that occurred right after the take.
Man, is he strong. Wish I had a 12 weight right now. I am. Uh-huh. Yeah, I can't even reel right now. He's just too strong. Man alive. Their endurance is just unreal. Man, he looked angry when he came at it the second time. I think he hit it twice. Yeah. It's tight. It's as tight as it'll go. Yeah. Can you drive toward him?
I was periodically turning the camera off because I suspected the battery may be running low, and I knew this was going to be a long fight. It was during one of these off periods that the knot between the fly line and the backing failed. The backing came rocketing back at me like a missile, and it looked like someone hit me with a full can of crazy string. It would have made for a pretty funny, albeit infuriating section of this video. Anyway, losing this fish was an error on my part. I overlooked the fact that I had tied the fly line to the backing more than 3 years ago, and I should have cut it and retied it before this trip. Yep,
Yeah.
I deserved what I got. And that's fishing.
Or 60. Well, that was pretty fun. Biggest tarpon I've ever had on the line. And the fly line untied from the backing, and we lost it. Tarpon 10, lead 0.